White Rocket Entertainment podcast number 1000.
That's a lot of podcasts.
Woo! Woo!
Hello and welcome to the AU Wishbone, the White Rocket Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review Podcast, and the White Rocket Podcast, plus elements of On Her Majesty's Secret Podcast. We're all here. We're all here. It's so cool. We have the co-hosts from all the various White Rocket shows, officially co-hosts, over the last, let's see, how long has it been, John? You were there at the very beginning, 2012, right? So 14 years and counting. Yeah, that's a lot. And so we have from, I'll just go around the horn here. We have Laura J. Schroeder from the White Rocket Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review Podcast. We have Alan J. Porter from On Her Majesty's Secret Podcast and the White Rocket Podcast. We haven't gotten Alan on the Auburn show yet. We need to find a reason to talk to get Alan's perspective on Auburn football.
When they have an open Grand Prix, when they have an open Formula One Grand Prix, then you can get me on the show. Okay.
I was gonna say, dang it, they had Argentina play a soccer game. It's hard to get more British than that, but yet it's not in Alan's wheelhouse. So okay, understood. We have my longtime co-host from the AU Wishbone, John Ringer. Who, John, you've also been on quite a few of the other shows. So there he is. We have the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind and ours too, Jared the Yard Sale Artist Albrecht, who I can't even begin to state all the ways that Jared's important to all of our network. And then my co-host for the last 5, 6 years, from the very beginning, the White Rocket Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review Podcast. Man, that's the longest name in podcasting. Get it there. The great Andy Fix. All of you guys, I like that we've got the breadth and depth of the White Rocket Network. We've got John, that's been around from the very beginning, and we've got Laura, who is our most recent addition in the last year, basically. So, and then everybody in between. So it really is awesome, and I'm so excited because we've done using the math, using the way that I count, we've done 1,000 episodes of the various shows. I think I have the number broken down. Yeah. So let me hit you guys first. I know I'm just doing all the talking, but oh well, we'll talk in a second. Let me hit you guys with the statistics and just absorb this, and it's kind of mind-blowing. All right. So let's start with just the regular old White Rocket podcast. It started the same time as the Wishbone in 2012, and I neglected it on and off for many years, so it's going to be lower than some. But the White Rocket podcast, our generic catch-all show that basically everything goes into, from John and me having a trivia contest to Jared and me talking about Tom Clancy movies to Alan and me talking about a race to whatever, right? That one has had 85,434 downloads. Okay, 85,000. And I've got some top fives here I'll get to in just a minute, but the Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review show, where Andy and I, for the first 5 years, and now Laura too, we have reviewed every episode of Babylon 5, everything related to Babylon 5. If some guy watched the show once, Andy and I dragged him off the street and interviewed. We've covered everything Babylon 5. And then Laura came in, we started doing Stargate Universe and now doing Battlestar Galactica. So we've really been covering a lot of stuff. 54,195 downloads just in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So it's in third place, but 54,000 in 5 years is not too bad.
No, not at all.
And then On Her Majesty's Secret Podcast is since whenever it was that we started, I don't remember what year that was. Jared, Alan, do y'all remember? Somewhere around probably
87.
Probably 15, 16, 2015, 2016, somewhere in there probably, I'm thinking.
Sounds
probably
right.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's had 104,309 downloads. Not too shabby.
Wow.
And then finally, the granddaddy of them all, that pays all the bills. Thank you all so much, patrons. The AU Wishbone since 2012, 741,355 downloads.
Wow.
I was at least 9 of those.
And not all of those.
You're
are my
welcome.
family members
You're
either,
welcome.
so.
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Not all of those are my family members either. So
No, not all of them. That's right. Though I know that they are faithful listeners. All right, I'm going to hit y'all with a few more things. Let's see. The most popular episodes of Andy will find this interesting, and probably Laura. The top 5 episodes of Babylon 5. Our very first episode, Andy, 1158 downloads.
Cool.
When we had no idea what we were doing, didn't even have our
None.
and people are like, "Oh, this show sucks," and we lost all
Right.
our audience after that.
And we would review like 12 episodes per episode.
We covered like the movie and the first 3 episodes in one show, and then later we got down to just one episode, and it was longer. Our shows were longer when we would do one episode than we would cover like 5.
We had like 3 sentences per episode, and now we spend 3 sentences talking about, my cat or something like that. So
This is fair. Okay, and then after that, episode 2, episode 3, Voice in the Wilderness, Babylon Squared, Severed Dreams, way off in season 3, had 687. I think that's people just look for that episode because it's so beloved.
Yeah, that's the greatest episode in television history.
Andy, last thing about this, you'll be interested to know that our episode that covered the infamous TKO episode that we've joked about ever since, the Mutai, is our 6th all-time download.
Oh my God.
It's the one so bad we've joked about it for 5 years, and it's number 6 all-time.
That's probably why so many people want to see what it's all about, because we bring it up every freaking episode. You're right.
That's right. All right, Alan and Jared, on Her Majesty's Secret Podcast, the top 5. What an odd top 5. All right, I don't know if you guys have ever looked at this, but if I were to ask, all right, let me ask Alan. If I were to ask you, what do you suppose would give me one topic that would be in the top 5 for that podcast?
I think it'd probably be one of the movie reviews, maybe Skyfall.
Yeah, see, I would think so. Here are the 5 most downloaded on Her Majesty's Secret Podcast episodes. Number 5, License to Kill, Jared. It's one of your favorites. Your favorite,
Love
right?
it. Number 1 in my heart, but yes.
There you go. But
how many times did you download it, Jared?
Just all the different IP addresses was the hardest part of all that.
Is that the one with Timothy Dalton?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite as well.
Not to be confused with A View to a Kill.
I thought so. I thought I was the only person in the world who thought that was a good movie, and here I find out one of the experts on James Bond.
Its fandom is growing by the minute.
Right. It has just doubled.
There you go.
Wow.
Going to the moon.
Oh my gosh. I know
No, that was Moonraker.
Hey, I love that. Well, all right. Number 4. This is so weird. The 5. Jared and Alan's brains are going to melt before I'm done. All right. Number 5, License to Kill, which y'all are, you're happy about that, Jared and Andy, but you got to admit, that's kind of surprising, right? It gets weirder.
Nothing. I admit to nothing.
Number 4, Quantum of Solace. Okay.
People like train wrecks.
Which is why they listen to our podcast.
Yeah. Number 3, and I guess because of recency, No Time to Die.
Okay.
Which I still haven't watched the second time, by the way, but I will eventually.
Same.
Number 2, you'll like this one. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is our number 2 most downloaded Bond episode.
There's people have tasted that.
And number 1, and this is the only one that's got 1,000 or more downloads, The Living Daylights. 1,058 downloads.
Oh, Timmy D, back again.
Wow.
Lucky.
Dominating.
Number 1 in everybody's hearts, apparently. The best Bond out there.
And let me do some back padding here for this, by the way. I believe all 5 of the top 5 are Van and Allen reviews, because we have Van and Allen reviews, and then we have the Rookie Agents reviews, which, if you know the Bond community, they're not as forgiving to rookies as they are to veterans. So I based off what I've looked at, if I'm not wrong, Van, I think our top ones are y'all two with your very serious reviews of the films. So kudos to you guys.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Jared. And I think Alan backed me up on this, or correct me if I'm wrong. I just suspect that there's something appealing about just the big movie reviews that brings in a random people that don't listen regularly. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Even the Rookie Agents ones that we did, because remember, for the longest time we were following you. You and Alan would drop one.
Y'all would do the next.
We dropped the Rookie one right after you. So we're doing the same topic. But yeah, it's whenever you hit the big movies, that's when the numbers go up on the downloads. Yeah. When we do the books and the games and the stuff, people are like, "That's cute," or even the interviews with some of the really cool celebrities we've interviewed.
And y'all done tons, yeah.
People just want to talk movies, man.
Yeah.
Alan, go ahead.
People do look for the movies. You see the same with the folks who do the YouTube channels and stuff. It's and people just like to do the deep dives into the movies, and that's what brings them in. But I think what it does do is that's more of the casual listeners, and then the folks who are really into Bond will come back for the craziness for Rogue Agents, or the 5 years of the Bond music that we did, or those niche things. I think they get a smaller but loyal audience. While I think you get the movie reviews, you just tend to get more of the casual. Yeah. So
I think so. All right. Let me see.
Or it could be just that you and I are just so perfect on microphone, Van.
That's it. Well, we've got the other half of the oeuvre to go. We went all the way through the movies once, just reviewing them. And then we came back through again doing kind of like a category thing. And we only got part way and we hit one. But I'm going to save that because that's going to be a trivia question in a minute. So let me hold off on that. All right. The top 5 White Rocket podcasts. And this is just our generic show. Our number 5 most downloaded show, Spectre Movie Review, 495. Okay. So James Bond over on the White Rocket show too. Number 4, and this something blew up. This is a going viral in a tiny way thing, because if you go back and look at the downloads of the White Rocket podcast, there was like a couple of years where I really neglected that show while we were doing the Bond show. We were trying to get the Babylon 5 show going. We're doing the Wishbone. I just didn't have time to do, and here's my thoughts on Shogun or something. That show got neglected. And so the numbers on the White Rocket show had used to have been up in the 400 or 500s. It dropped all the way down to like 50 or 60 per episode. And then for episode 200, randomly, Dayton and I'm blanking. Anyway, we did a career retrospective on Judas Priest. And that was only like 2 years ago. And it got like 40 downloads, and then it kind of died off, and I moved on, and I went back and looked just to get these numbers. It's sitting at 544 downloads in the last 2 years. I'm like, it's one of those things where somebody in that community probably sent a link to a Facebook group, you know what I mean? Or something like that. It's so weird how those things happen. So anyway, all right, that's number 4. Number 3 is Mark Buskett and I did the war and action films of Alistair McLean. That would be like Ice Station Zebra and the Guns of Navarone and all. I love McLean. Where Eagles Dare, right? All those great movies. So that one's got 582. Number 2, Avengers Endgame. And the number 1 most downloaded White Rocket podcast episode, John and I talked about Ready Player One, the book. 624 downloads, John. What are your thoughts on that?
So this was before the movie came out? We were doing a book review?
This is when the two and us just decided to review that book.
Interesting.
Or maybe we did the book and then we did the movie as like 2 back to back. And the book one has, but anyway, it's a book we love.
It is. I think all of these things that's a theme, is like the love of the subject matter comes through in these topics.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm surprised it's not one of the many 3-hour movies you've asked me to watch that we've reviewed.
All right. Jared, I don't want to hog it. Tell the story of Kingdom of Heaven and our review of that.
It's a simple story. But he asked me to review Kingdom of Heaven. I'd never seen it. And I just took, as I sometimes do, I like to bother Van. And so I started live texting him. I was just texting him, oh, this is cool. That's cool. And Van's spider sense for space and time and Kingdom of Heaven kicked in about 20 minutes of this. And he was like, you're watching the wrong version. You shouldn't be at that part by now. I
say eject, start over.
I'm telling you, man, like Rain Man himself. He was like, no, this isn't correct. And he did not want me watching theatrical cut. I needed to watch director's cut because Lord knows he couldn't spare me 45 minutes in anything he'd ever watched. And so, yeah, he was able to tell I was watching the wrong cut by the text I was sending him, which I find eternally impressive.
Yeah, and then Jared is like, well, I can watch the version I want to because...
And I am the King of England.
I told you to spare me no injury, but you didn't.
Do yourself no injury.
God Wilson!
Oh, the other folks get to the soundboard at last.
I think we should take a vote right now to ban the soundboard from the rest of this episode. Everybody say aye.
John perked up so fast, man.
Oh my God, John was like the president of that fan club of the club.
I'm looking for my soundboard fan club little sign I have in here somewhere.
I know you have a thing there somewhere. All right, so that was pretty funny. Yeah, it is funny how everything I used to try to get Jared to review with me would end up being at least 3 or 4 hours long.
Everything. I came through every time and watched the dang thing.
So I'm guessing you guys haven't done Gone with the Wind yet.
No,
not yet.
It's like a 4-hour, 5-hour movie?
I don't know. For it.
When it was, I think when it was originally released, it was like they had an intermission because it was so long. I remember seeing it. Yeah. They did it in the theater like many, many years ago. I was still living in St. Louis. And they actually had an intermission because it is such a long film.
You would need one. Well, they have an intermission in the long version of Kingdom of Heaven, even though you can just push pause on the Blu-ray. But okay. All right. So that was all right. Here's one more to go. Here are our topics for the Wishbone most downloaded shows.
Numbers for these I can predict number one. I bet
Auburn football, Auburn basketball, Auburn coaches, Auburn football, Charles Barkley.
I mean, those are all correct answers in one way or another. But
well, I'll put it this way. The number one is the only one that somebody at Dragon Con came up to me and said, I keep that episode downloaded on my phone. So if I'm having a bad day, I just replay that episode. I was just like,
was correct then.
Wow, that blew me away. All right. Number 5, John, this is just totally random. 2015 National Signing Day episode. Was that the one where we wore suits and ties?
Maybe, but man, people got to get out more. I don't know.
That was 2007.
It's not even about us talking about an actual game.
No, that was just signing day 20. And it wasn't even like the beginning of a new coach's run. That was like halfway through the Gus Malzahn era. Yeah. I think it's where we wore the shirt and ties and went on YouTube for the first time. And that was your idea, by the way. I didn't want to wear a shirt.
All right. You guys need to listen to Sports Talk Radio in Columbus, Ohio at any time during the non-football season to hear people talk about nonsensical stuff, and they get massive ratings for it.
It's crazy. I listened to Atlanta sports radio for many years. That's where a lot of this came from. All right. Number 4, the 2019 Iron Bowl. Okay. Makes sense. 2022, our live show, new coaching hire. That would be, hold on. That would literally, John, that means that our third most listened to show was the one where we hired potatoes. That's kind of depressing. I know. And people then 2 years later, 2 years later, or a year and a half. And then our number 2, I'm so proud of this one though. Our number 2 most downloaded show was when we did our own match game episode. We did an entire match game episode on air. Oh, those were the days. Those were the days when I had time to put together something like that. You know, that doesn't happen.
Absolutely inspired us to do the same thing on Longbox. Remember, we did a match game over there.
Yes.
And you came on it. And you're right. It took forever for me to prep that, which is why we've only done it once.
Exactly. It's so much work. Well, it's the same thing we did the We Believed, episodes. It just takes so much work to edit all that. I always say I've got my editing of these shows down to where I can get it done between signing off and going to bed. I can go blip, 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 blip. It's out and I'm done. And there's no more. I don't have time for that in my life. Okay. And our number one show, as everybody that is, I'm sure Jared guessed, and I'm sure John knows, was the Kick Six, the 2013 Iron Bowl, the Kick Six, with that epic, the arena song, and all, and that incredible. I'll just give it a just feels good, doesn't it? Let's see.
That's the first thing that I thought of when you said you'll never guess what number, or everybody knows what number one is, because that's like one of the biggest plays in college football history.
We did a whole 2-hour reaction to that game.
I bet.
And at the beginning of the episode, I put the CBS audio of it with the arena playing behind it, the Marconi. And then I played the entire hour radio booth doing the play-by-play of it. And then it goes to John and me just like,
and we just laughed for about 5 minutes.
Yes, it was so great. Incredible. I'll give it one more. Oh, and what's funny is that it was just 2 weeks after. A miracle in Jordan Hare! A miracle in Jordan Hare! And that wasn't the biggest thing. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. All right. I know Alan and Laura are going to sleep, so I gotta, and probably Andy. So let's all right. So that's our statistics. I just kind of wanted to run through that and get you guys. So let me I'm gonna put you guys on the spot for a second. I want to go around the horn and tell me, how about this? Either tell me the most memorable thing that you have been part of on our show, or some other thing you want to share about being on our shows, right? So, Laura, you have the least amount to have to think through, so I'll let you go first. What's the most memorable, or whatever you want to say?
Well, I think probably the most memorable / monumental thing is that you actually have a woman on your show. There's a lot of testosterone going on here. So having I like to think that, at least on the Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review podcast, it is nice to have a female point of view to counter all of the Lieutenant James fanboying that you and Andy do. I give them a lot of crap about their
deservedly so.
Yes. But no, it's just a lot of fun. But no, I think I do remember I was driving home for a holiday probably a year or two ago. I can't even remember. And I was listening to some of your older podcasts, like the Indiana Jones ones and all that. And I sent Van a message and you have a decidedly lack of female viewpoints on your podcasts. He's true. Yeah, you're right. I'm like, yeah, you should probably remedy that. And he did.
Well, and we're very happy. I'd say we only do the finest upper class, upper crust material on our podcast, such as our famous sponsor, such as our famous high class sponsor,
Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage. Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage.
You bring anything down here, we'll put it in the fire. We'll fry it up for you. Love it. All right. So, Alan, what's been your favorite thing or most memorable thing or whatever else you want to share?
I think the most memorable thing has to be us doing the live on a Majesty's Secret podcast from the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, where we got to spend, not only do the show, but we got the whole museum to ourselves for 3 hours among all those amazing, not just the James Bond vehicles, which we were there for and did the show about, but we got to have the whole place to ourselves and wander around and look at some amazing.
That was incredible.
Amazing vehicles. And the fact that I think it was the first time we got all the crew together. It was certainly the first time I'd met some of the guys from the On Her Majesty's Secret podcast crew. So, that was really special. So
us just hanging out in Beverly Hills like we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We hang out in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Well, and I was glad that, seeing the Bond vehicles was amazing, and getting to be just sitting there and, and talking Bond while we were there. But then you and I kind of went around and looked at like the Formula One cars and the other cars that were in there that you and I both particularly really love. And that was really awesome too.
It was. I just can't, it was great that they let us do the podcast there, but I was amazed when they were basically like, hey, it's 3 hours until the museum opens. Just go wander. It was like, okay.
Yeah, feel free to drive something around if you want to.
Yeah. So,
and the other thing that was cool was, as a big movie guy, is that they had just opened the motion picture museum like right across the street. And I went in there and wandered around for half the day, and just seeing they had these whole walls that they were projecting certain clips from movies on that had common themes. So there was like the scene from Star Wars where Luke's standing there in the desert and you see the two suns, and then there was something with somebody else standing there. Then you saw an eye, and then it was the eyeball at the beginning of Blade Runner with the fire and the city lights as the little cars fly by and all. And then it ended up somehow with Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon, and you saw it. That was just mind blowing to me to see just these 5-10 second clips from these great movies, one after the other, the size of a movie screen on the wall. So that was a great trip. I'm glad that you mentioned that one. I'm going to continue around clockwise. John, we've done a lot of shows. What do you think?
Sure. So memorable. We were joking at the beginning of this podcast about technical difficulties, and there's been some memorable moments where Van and I have struggled with technical difficulties in the middle, but persevered and got the podcast done and recorded, and that's important. But I think about that match game episode as incredibly fun, that and a real fun experience. Basically, my friend created a game show for me to play in and on the podcast and be silly with and have fun. So that was memorable. So I think about that, and I also think about like on the White Rocket Show, Van and I play in the Lord of the Rings trivia every year. It's just something that we do for fun, like that we would. And my joke about this podcast is always like, Van and I'd be doing this anyway. Like we'd be having the same conversation if there was a podcast or not a podcast. So that's part of it.
Yeah, we've always stressed to the audience that this is just a conversation you and I have with the soundboard. I don't know if we'd be using the soundboard if it was just the two of us.
I hope not.
And I don't know if the third banana would be poking his head in quite as often as he does, but he does. But anyway, I was going to mention another one when we got to do the live shows in Auburn in the bookstore.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
We interviewed Brandon Marcello, and we had Delvin on one time.
Mm-hmm.
Question there.
Commandeered Delvin to step in and do it. He did a great job.
He did a great job. He didn't know it was coming. That was awesome. So yeah, it was neat to set up in the bookstore and have all those people stop and watch as we were just having our normal conversation and everybody's watching. That was pretty crazy. Jared, what is your similar thing, memorable moment or other?
Well, much like Laura, I remember contacting you saying you needed more good looking dudes on the thing. So those kind of voices. So there's that.
You obviously didn't get that memo then,
no. Knew Alan would be hurtful. Speaking of hurtful, big memory of starting a Babylon 5 Quantum Elite podcast and then being replaced by Andy.
Yes, that's right, Andy. I'm like, Jared, I got to tell you something, man.
All my memories are hurtful. All the ones I've written down here. Yeah.
I didn't know that, Jared. I apologize.
Whatever hurtful memories do I have here? No, just actually the one I had written down when you started this was Peterson, and Alan took it because he steals. He's a thief. but yeah, the Peterson Automotive Museum was definitely the highlight of that. And then just like you trusting me, which is never a good idea, but you trusting me with the Bond show, like really allowing me to be a producer there and kind of run with that. And I'm really proud of what we built into that. And when you get the opportunity to not just podcast with like an interview or whatever, but like do a series with your favorite James Bond author of all time, Raymond Benson came on to a series with Alan and I.
Yep.
I mean, I was like, it doesn't get any better than that. Like to me, because like that's just my favorite James Bond authors. Like that's tippy top for Jared. So I mean, all that comes from you building the network and then trusting me with it. So all jokes aside, and the pain of my Quantum Leap Babylon 5 podcast aside, yeah, that's the most non-painful memory. And
the that's you've hit upon the reason why I count the weird way I count is because you did take that over and it did become kind of thing. You and Alan's kind of thing, which is great. Because if it was left to just me, it would have been on hiatus for a couple of years or more. So I'm so glad y'all guys have been doing it, but I can't count that since as part of, you know what I mean? It's really it's an allied show now rather than part of it.
Like the way that like Joel Hodgson can claim everything Mystery Science Theater, even though he left, at season 5 or whatever. But like you set it up, so don't sell yourself short. And thanks again for trusting me and Alan with that. Like, of course, we have such good times with it, and don't sell yourself short, man. But I get why you counted the way you did. I do.
Okay. But we can
so Jared, if you ever like want to do something with Quantum Leap, that is actually one of my favorite shows of all time. So hit me up.
No.
Interesting. It is literally my favorite show of all time.
I loved it. And I was watching it for rewatching everything. And then I can't remember I think it was Roku TV or something. And then like it moved and now I can't find it, but
so it leapt to another.
It leapt to another, yes, another somewhere else. I think it's like on Amazon, and I'd have to pay for it. But I love Quantum Leap, so if you ever want to do something Quantum Leap, you just let me know.
Noted. Thank you.
Well, Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans. Kevin McHale's not walking through that door, and Robert Parrish not walking through that door.
And I don't know if Jared Albing's walking through that leap, but we'll see. That's awesome. All right, Andy, bring up the rear. 5.5 to 6 years of this. What do you think?
I can't think of a specific moment, but what the first thing that leapt to my mind when you brought this topic up was all the times that we cut each other up so much that we busted out laughing and couldn't stop laughing for at least a minute or two. So if you take all those times when we were laughing so hard we couldn't actually continue and put them all together in one long cut, that would easily be a 2-hour episode of our podcast. So we just had so much fun doing that podcast that there are times where we just can't even podcast because we're laughing so hard. So that's what I remember.
I appreciate that. I firmly believe, and I just remember your cat coming on and switching you off, and then all of a sudden you go blank. You just go black, and I'm like, where'd Andy go? Oh, the cat turned me off. Okay, but I think that's why that show is appealing. I think the same reason that the ones that we've all done have been appealing is because, I have everybody knows I feel very strongly about spontaneity and just conversation, and everybody can do shows the way makes them happy. That's great. Whatever works for everybody is great, but I'm much more comfortable just having a conversation. And when Andy and I just start laughing and cutting up, I don't feel like that's something I need to cut out. I feel like that's what people like. And so, absolutely. And it's true. John and I do the same thing, and Alan and I tend to be a little more serious when we've done the Bond show. I don't know if we've ever cracked each other up very much, but we've gotten there. So I think on our racing movies, it was more likely to happen when we reviewed the racing movies, which by the way, we'll get to that in a minute too. So
Alan's British. This is him cutting up.
No, he saves every ounce of it for Rogue Agents episode.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I live for the moments, by the way, when you crack John up on the wishbone, because John is not an easy crack up, but when you get him, it's great. God. So like all 3 episodes where that happened are my favorite 3 episodes.
I know. I love it when we have a So for those of you that don't know, the Wishbone audience that's watching or listening right now, they know, and some of you, but when we do the patrons, some of them put as their names things I'm supposed to read, and it can be just like 4-time intramural volleyball champion or something, you know, or AU Wishbone NCAA tournament bracket winner last year. Sometimes it's jokes.
Dad jokes.
And when John cracks up, it's always so good. They ought to get a gold star.
It's the random dad joke that hits John just right, which I'm as a listener, I'm just dying when John starts cracking up. I'm like, oh, they got him. So they got him.
It's so good. All right, here's the most appearances, and I might have missed some people or missed some things, and it's been harder to count them the last 3 or 4 years because I used to go through and catalog. I haven't indexed them lately, but I indexed through 2021, and then I kind of went through and kind of caught up. So here's the we've had dozens and dozens of guests and guest hosts at 4 or fewer. Okay, so a lot of people have been on 4 or fewer times, dozens of people. And then Bobby Nash, at least 5 or 6. I lost count, but Bobby's been on 5 or 6 because he's always up to talk about. We did a Justified. We did like a Star Trek or something. Bobby's a master of all kinds of fiction stuff. Michael Gordon has been on 8, which was cool. Laura, you have been on 11 episodes so far. So you're but that's in less than a year. So you're piling them up. Jared, I said many of the Bond episodes plus 8 various review episodes, including Babylon 5 and Quantum Leap. So we've probably done, I mean, I don't know how many ever Bond we did. And then, and then 8 more of those others.
And then the others were all movies that were at least 3 hours long. So I should get double credit.
And John, say that again.
Well, and then Jared is in the Wishbone episodes where he does this guess the game thing, where he records a football game from history, and then Van and I have to guess what game it is.
Oh, so good. That is one
of
the
best. So good at it.
So good that's one of the best features that we have, because you package this awesome like 5-minute segment that we stretch out to like 15 minutes while we're going, well, that might have been Gym 5. Sounded like a home game. We just stretch it out.
The best ones are when John nails it immediately and then you talk him out of it. Those are always my favorites. But full kudos to the guy whose name I can never remember who came up with the idea, because we were doing Robo Gus and then Gus left. And then some listener wrote that in. He said, you should do like clips from the game and make them. And I can never remember who it was. If you're listening now or watching, please let us remind us, because it's fantastic. We've done 170 something of those now.
That's crazy. And the thing is, and that's even skipping football season, because we just don't have enough time, and we give you a break during football season. But the thing is too is we do really well. We do really well at that.
I'd say you guys are probably 95% or higher. I'm guessing. I don't have the numbers.
It's disturbing.
Yeah, and the other funny thing about it, Jared puts bleeps in when they say the players' names or whatever. It just sounds like a profanity-laced clip from a football game because of that. Well, they're gonna bleep on the bleep if the guy doesn't bleep, and he's gonna bleep bleep, and it's like this. We're gonna take the bleeps away and be knocked off the air by the FCC.
We had one listener, by the way, who didn't like the bleeps, and he messaged me personally. He's like, "Could you use just mute instead of bleep?" And I was like, "No, man, no."
So what's wrong? That was it. Yeah, I took care of that. Well, that's like the guy that's like the guy that left the comment that said they're eating on the air during the barbecue show. I'm like, that's literally that's
why we have the show.
John and I subject ourselves once a year to eating smoked meats after 11 p.m. Eastern time, and we regret it the next day and most of the night. But
the older I get, the more I'm like, I can't believe y'all do that.
It's not easy, man. We give up our digestive systems for the good of the Auburn Tigers, man.
For the good of the
let's see. David Wright, 18 episodes. He's done soccer shows, Avengers comic shows with me. He was on one of the very first episodes talking about the Dark Tower. So David's done a lot of stuff. Jim Yelton, 19 times. Plus, we've been doing this new Space 1999 review. We haven't got Jim and I are kind of harder to get together than the rest of us, and so we've only done about 5 or 6, and I've been spacing them out, no pun intended. So. But he's 19 times over the years. Alan, how many Bond movie reviews would you guess we've done?
take it off mute to start with. We did the 25 Eon ones. I made you watch Casino Royale.
You did. I'll never forgive you for that.
So, and probably Never Say Never. So that's 27. Then we did probably another 6 or 7. So 30 something.
Yeah. 32 Bond reviews. We did one about 32 plus one about Connery's non-Bond, one about Moore's non-Bond. We did 2 about The Mandalorian, and then we did racing reviews of Grand Prix, Ford versus Ferrari, Rush, Driven, and Senna. So, unless I missed one. So, and that's 4 pretty good racing movies and Driven.
Yeah.
I really got into that series you guys were doing. You remember I would like text you. I was like, oh, I found this racing movie at Goodwill. And as soon as I showed interest, y'all stopped doing it. Don't think I didn't.
Jared's watching. Jared's listening. We gotta
all right, let's move on. Let's move on.
We gotta wrap that up. All right. Let's see. Andy, at least 140 episodes.
Wow.
We've done Tuesdays, we've done Wednesdays, we've done Thursdays, and then the odd weekend. A lot of Wednesdays and Thursdays over the last 5 years.
Yep.
That counts all the B5 and Sci-Fi Review and a few others here and there. And of course, it would be at least 141, except for Micronauts. That's my trivia question.
Oh, and the Battlestar Galactica pre-episode.
Yeah, I wasn't on that one either.
That's right. You were not on that.
That was just you and me. We were very sad. We actually cried on air.
I was sad too.
Yep. John, 574 wishbones
over
as of
half.
tonight.
This is grounds for commitment in some states.
We've been
blink twice if you need help, John.
We've been weekly as of like 2017. So from 2012 through early 2017, there were weeks we would say, screw it, there's nothing to talk about. And we just didn't worry about it. Then we got a little more serious about it. And we've been weekly ever since then. So for almost a decade now. And my favorite thing too is we originally were on Sunday nights, but we moved to Monday night. Why did we move from Sunday to Monday?
So there were a couple Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
It was also so we had more time between the end of the football game and according to the podcast, so we weren't still angry a lot of the time. But
we learned that after the fact, right? We immediately figured out
that was the benefit from the Game of Thrones decision.
Yes, we realized coming on Sunday to talk about a big loss on Saturday was not easy. By Monday, we kind of reconciled to, and let's be honest, the last 5-6 years, we've needed some time. We haven't been so fortunate as Andy and his ilk to win all the time. So we've had to we've needed time to get over our heart-wrenching epic losses. But that's about to change as chronicled by John and me and B every Monday night now on the AU Wishbone, which is probably half the people more listening to this. Let's see. All right. But in addition to that, John, how many times would you guess you've been on the White Rocket podcast? You've never been on the Babylon 5 show, but you've been on the other show, and I counted up what I think is the right number. How many times would you say you've been on the White Rocket show?
20.
58.
Good gosh.
It's just this is like a parade of horrors. A parade of horrors for John. Well, I'm gonna say, like 10 of them have been the trivia show.
After this episode, John's gonna cry. He's gonna cry after we go. What have I done with my life?
Yeah, I think it's a good example. I think, we've done that trivia show a few times. And you said it we've done it 10 years in a row.
10 times. Yeah. Yeah. Every Christmas for 10 years, we've done the Lord of the Rings.
And trivia. I tune in and I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings.
Well, sometimes we feel like we don't either when we get these questions, but anyway. Every year since 2016 we've done it. And this was our 10th one last Christmas. All right, let me see if I've got some. Oh, this is fun. So, John, how many Game of Thrones episodes did you and I produce? Because we covered it for like 3 seasons, more or less, but we didn't do weekly until the end. And boy, do I regret some life choices I made there. But
okay, 15 Game of Thrones episodes out of that.
Ding, 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 ding. 15 Game of Thrones episodes. Look at that. Yeah, we covered every episode the last season. There were only like 5, right, or 6, something like that last season. We did. I asked the question. Alan and Jared can't answer this. What James Bond novelist actually co-hosted a show on Her Majesty's Secret Podcast? And of course, that was Raymond Benson. We just said. So that is pretty amazing, though, that we had Raymond Benson on our show for a while. I've got like half a dozen of his books over there on the other side of the room. So. Let's see. Andy, what was the first Babylon 5 episode to get its own complete episode without having to share with another episode?
Severed Dreams.
The one right before it.
Oh.
Point of No Return.
Yep.
So you only missed it by one. By the way, the other folks on here don't know, unless Laura might know. We do a kind of a guessing thing on the Babylon 5 show. We haven't done it so much lately, but we used to, where I would go and get like the IMDb rating and the Lurker's Guide to Babylon 5.
The Lurker's Guide, yeah.
For each episode, and Andy would have to guess the number to the decimal place, like 7.8 or something. And if you didn't nail it, you'd be within 0.1 like half the time.
It was so uncanny because I can say I was a latecomer to Babylon 5, and you were the one, Van, that told me to watch Babylon 5, so I did. Not that I listened to him at all. So as I was watching them, I was listening to your podcast, your and Andy's podcast. So it was, always fun when it's like, now it's time for Andy to guess the rating. And it was uncanny, but you have your formula.
And the algorithm, yep.
Yes.
His algorithm, that's right. So it's sort of like the guess the game for our show, but
I can't tell you how many times I was like actually yelling like inside my kitchen at you guys because of something you said on the podcast. But
we deserved it, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely, we did.
Let's see. Let me ask you a couple of quick ones, Andy. What was the first, and this is for John too, because John was involved, I believe. What was the first movie review to appear on the Babylon 5 podcast that was not Babylon 5 related? First movie review.
That appeared in the Babylon 5 podcast that wasn't Babylon 5 related?
Yeah. Special bonus episode. I think it was John and me. So you have been on that channel, John. I forgot.
It had to be a science fiction movie. I don't.
Yes.
I don't know.
Dune.
That's right. Dune. Yep, it was Dune.
And the first TV show that we covered on that channel was Foundation. So I think that was John and me also. So let's see. We talked about the live shows. Michael Gordon and Kel Carpenter and I reviewed the first 5 Led Zeppelin albums in like 2016. And one of these days we're going to finish the other 5 albums. We've never finished that. All right, here we go. Jared cannot answer this. Who was the very first, and as far as I know, other than, Boris, who was the first guest co-host of the Wishbone when John was not available?
Bootsy?
He wishes. All right, Jared, who was it?
I believe it was Delvin the Dark Web Williams.
Delvin? I wish I had his sound effect. Ding a dong 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 ding a dong dong. Delvin the Dark Web. Good old Delvin. Delvin always comes through for us. All right, let's see. Alan might remember this. John, I'm not sure. Yeah, let's see. But Jared seems to know everything, so he might know too. When Dragon Con was online only during the pandemic in 2020, we hosted several virtual gatherings on the White Rocket Show. And what location at Dragon Con did we say it was a virtual version of? Anybody remember?
Food court.
The virtual food court, yes. And then on the last day, we did the virtual MARTA station by basically turning off your air conditioner, starting up the car in the garage, leaving the door open, and turning off the air conditioner to simulate
Bringing
a MARTA.
in 18 random people that you've never met, just plunk them down.
But
next
look very
to you.
dangerous. Looks very shady.
You have no idea. You just roll the dice.
Yep, that's it. All right, we did the Micronauts thing. Bless our hearts, Andy. Okay. Laura can't answer this one. The first time Laura appeared on a White Rocket episode, it was to discuss what topic? It's fairly recent, but it's not a recent thing. It's 17 years. Wow. Time flies. Nobody knows.
17 years back. Oh, I was going to say 17 years would be the end of Battlestar Galactica. But
yeah, it was about the same time. Yeah, because Stargate Universe was basically borrowing heavily from.
You're wrong.
Oh, I'm right. Straighten us out.
My first appearance on the White Rocket Babylon 5 and Sci-Fi Review podcast was the table read for the 14th episode of Crusade.
Wow, look at that. That's
He's
right. That was so cool too.
That was fun.
That was so cool. I didn't realize what I was getting into with that either, because we had the script that was never produced for the season cliffhanger of Crusade, and it was good. I thought a good episode. And then I realized, like a day before we were going to record it with our like 5 or 6 people, Andy's wife and Laura and me, and didn't we have one other?
Yes,
Andy?
and I don't remember his name, but I know I've seen him. Nathan.
Oh, it was Nathan. Yeah, Nathan. That's right. Nathan's been on a handful too. And Bobby Polite. Yeah, right before then I realized this isn't going to work. We need to make this more of a radio drama. And so I took like 2 hours and frantically rewrote the entire TV script into a radio script so that it would make any sense at all. I'm like, why didn't I realize? But I was just stupid. So thank goodness.
But yeah, that was my first appearance.
First one. That's awesome. Let's see. That was my next question. We produced a live table read performance of an episode of what TV show? Crusade. I'd like to think, Andy and Laura, that we cared about Crusade more than any other podcast ever has.
Probably true.
Did you care more than the people who actually made the show?
Right. I was just about to say that. We certainly cared more than JMS cares to talk about it these days.
Well, it's funny because I did that podcast, I did that table read before I had actually finished Crusade. So.
Oh, wow.
But yes,
nobody has ever finished Crusade. That's the whole point.
Well, I mean, what was available? What was available? I finished. But what really kind of makes me, I was going to say sad, but it's actually more angry, is that I want to know what happened after that.
I know. Well,
it ended in a cliffhanger, and yeah, so.
What I say, I went up to JMS in his autograph line at Heroes Con Charlotte in 2006, and I got him to sign my cast poster, which is right around the corner here. By the way, that cast poster of Babylon 5 is crazy valuable now because half those actors are dead and you can't reproduce it. And I've got them all. Actually, oh, you know what?
Nope,
and
you're taking it this year, aren't you?
I was going to say, Laura, you got to remind me, and Jared, you got to remind me.
Yeah.
I got to get it out of the frame and bring it, because Lita Alexander, the redheaded telepath, is the one living actor on there. Patricia Tallman, that I don't have. And she's going to be there for the first time since I got the poster. I got the poster the year after she was there last time.
I wouldn't worry about it. She knows you're coming.
Well, the thing of it is, she does know, because she's actually in one of the was it the DragonCon unofficial group?
Yeah, one of the Facebook groups.
And you know, I'm like reading through, and Van had mentioned this whole thing, and she's like, "I'll bring my good pen."
Nice.
So she knows she's coming.
Yeah.
And yes, so yeah, I will be reminding you.
The thing is, this is crazy. The thing is priceless. And a few years ago at Archon in St. Louis, Claudia Christian was there, Ivanova. and she'd never really been to Dragon Con. She's one of the few that just didn't come to Dragon Con. And so, or if she did, I didn't have the poster or whatever. And so she was at the table next to me, and I took the poster there and got her to sign it. And then I put it at the table, and then the convention ended. I packed it up and somehow left it there and went home. And that thing just sat there overnight in the convention center, worth God knows how much money, and irreplaceable to me. And I like frantically texted the director of the con and told him what had happened. He's like, okay, I got it. I'm like, oh, so thank God. I don't know how.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy, but he went and found it. It was just sitting there. Let's see. So here was the question I was going to ask anybody but Alan, and then Alan can tell us. We reviewed every James Bond movie once, and we came back around a second time. What movie made me have to stop doing it? What movie did I see was next, and I said, no, I got to take a break? Which Bond movie made Van have to take a 5-year or however long it's been break from James Bond? Just knowing it was...
The most correct answer is Casino Royale 1967.
I made it through that one. I wouldn't make it through it twice, but
that was George Lazenby, wasn't it?
No. This is the one with like Woody Allen and David Niven and
it was David Niven I was thinking of.
Is it Orson Welles?
I've not seen it, but I've read a lot about it.
But if you want to read more about it,
we're talking real Bond. We're talking real Bond here, right?
But if you want to read more about Casino Royale 67, there was an excellent book coming out next year, all about the behind the scenes stuff.
I highly recommend the book over the movie, and I haven't even looked at the book yet.
It would have been The Man with the Golden Gun.
It was The Man with the Golden Gun. It's one of those movies as a kid I loved, and as an adult I watch it and go,
Hey, Christopher Lee is all you need to get through.
I know. They have one of the greatest Bond villains ever in one of the worst Bond movies, and it's just so unfair. It's just so not fair.
You can manage.
You guys are gonna make me up my Bond game. So I came in the Roger Moore era. My very first Bond film was Live and Let Die.
Probably me too, honestly. Yeah.
And that lives in my heart forever.
Great.
But I really didn't continue on after Roger Moore left, even though I was really rooting for Pierce Brosnan to be James Bond when they cast Timothy Dalton.
Well, I think I have
seen I've seen one Dalton film. It was probably his first one. I know I've seen at least one. And then, of course, when Pierce Brosnan became James Bond, I didn't watch any of them. I watched a few of the Daniel Craig. I did see Never Say Never Again. Because but I'm I'm so far behind now in James Bond, it's not even funny.
Just start with Dr. No and go through them all again.
Yeah, I should.
Alan.
Now there is, for you guys, I don't know if you've seen it, and I want to say it's on Amazon Prime. There is an excellent show, and it's called The Sound of Bond, I think is what it's called. I will try and remember. I will look it up and I'll send it to Van and he can send it out. But it is all about the music of James Bond, and it is
which we love.
You're right, because you mentioned something about, but it is if you guys wanted to expand your James Bond, it was a great documentary about the music of Bond.
Sorry, we're smiling. Jared and I did 5 years of a podcast on the music of Bond.
And I think we did an episode on that.
And we did an episode on that show.
Oh, you've seen it? Okay.
We are the nerdiest.
I loved it. But I mean,
all right.
So
I got to tell y'all one more thing cool that you'll appreciate about that. Just today, I was reading an article in Rolling Stone where this lady says at the beginning of the article, she says, I'm an angry feminist. And I've only ever watched the Daniel Craig Bond movies with my dad growing up. I've never seen any of the others. And she said, I decided to go back and watch from the beginning to be able to criticize them. She says, I'm ready for all the misogyny. I'm ready for the racism and the sexism. I'm ready to just tear them apart. She says, I sat down, I watched Dr. No, and it was awesome. She said, it was so good. This is the greatest quote. She says, "I didn't know Bond." Alan, you're going to love this. She says, "I didn't know Bond was supposed to be fun." Is that
I'm clapping for that.
Yeah, I know.
No
So
wonder
long
she's
we
so
said
angry.
that.
She's only watched the Daniel Craig. It's the angriest era of James Bond.
Yeah.
I know. I thought that was so good. Yeah. So,
by the way, I just looked it up. It was 2023 when you bottled on.
okay, so not that long ago. All right, we'll get back to it someday. Yeah. Oh, the other thing that I thought was really funny. She said that she just absolutely was in love with the furniture. I think she means the set design.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Ken Adams set design. Yeah. Ken Adams. Yeah.
Yeah. Ken Adams. Oh, the Ken Adams set design's incredible.
That was one of the craziest things when we first got the Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it at that quality. That's what I noticed the most. You notice the fabric patterns more. I'm sorry. I'm nerding out.
It's true. It absolutely. So, all right, let me see. Last couple of things I have for you, and then I want to go around one more time. We'll wrap up. Jared, you and I did one season of Quantum Leap. So we actually covered the entire first season. We just squeezed the second half in like one episode because we kind of knew what was going on. So
right.
But we got it in.
Right. And I think the thing that sticks with me the most about that is how many actors we discovered had done both Babylon 5 and Quantum Leap. Like we kept finding like Claudia
Christian.
She was in like one of the first episodes.
One of the early ones.
Yeah, but like every time we do an episode, you'd be like, "Hey, I know that," or I'd be watching. I go, "Hey, I know." we kept doing that
because Babylon 5, they didn't have much money, and so they were kind of the American Doctor Who in a way, right? They just went and got whatever actor was walking down the street unemployed and said, "Come play this alien. We'll make you all up and everything." So.
Which is surprising that they got Bruce Boxleitner. I mean, he was a pretty big thing at that time.
Well, that was the thing. When they brought it back for season 2, they said we're gonna go all in and make it a success. Andy, go ahead. I'm sorry.
How do you explain Martin Sheen's tragically not Emmy-nominated turn on Babylon 5?
As the alien, as the Soul Hunter.
As the Soul Hunter. That was freaking brilliant, and he was an A-list actor.
Well, he was brought on to play the regular human guy that Al Swearingen from Deadwood ended up playing. And he looked at the script and said, well, this alien guy is way more interesting than the human guy. And they're like, well, yeah, but you'd have to be in all this makeup. And he's like, okay, Martin Sheen.
Give Martin what he wants, baby.
Right? For those of you that haven't seen it, if you just Google Martin Sheen Babylon 5, it will blow your mind what he looks like.
He devoured every scene that he was in, just ate it up.
Like a year later, he's the president of the United States on the West Wing. But this was when he was still kind of in between careers, and he took that job. Well, it's just like, what's his name from Breaking Bad? Bryan Cranston was a random White Star pilot.
Yep.
Yeah. Making meth in the back of the White Star. Cooking up meth. The Minbari are like, Captain, what is this strange smell? Don't worry about it. We're good, but we need to pull over to this gas station. All right. All right, let's see. 10 Lord of the Rings. All right, last question. I'm going to go around. John cannot answer this. What is the most popular clip on the soundboard?
I have a wager, but I've answered a lot of these. So if anybody else wants to throw in,
I think we all know.
And should you do it every day?
Smoke weed every day.
Yeah, you should do
There
it.
It is.
Okay.
always been our most popular one. All right. To wrap things up so we don't keep everybody here all night, I want to go around one more time because I've done a lot of talking. I want to get you guys to get any more chance. And I'm going to start with Andy. Just any final thoughts about the whole podcasting experience and the last how many ever years and time you've done it, and maybe where do you see us going? What do you want to do in the future?
Wow. So I think that the thing that comes across most that sticks in my mind is just how, I've been on other podcasts, not a whole lot, a few of them, and they're always very structured and they're always very formal. And even a lot of the ones I listen to, they're very scripted. And the ones that you've done, I mean, not just our Babylon 5 one, but all the other ones that I've listened to, it's just so conversational and so laid back and just so awesome. They just seem so much more natural and organic. And I think that's why people listen to us. And I think it's fantastic. the other thing that definitely needs to be mentioned is our friendship. I mean, we met in 2013 at Pulp Fest in Columbus, Ohio, where I bought a book from you and you signed it. And I talked to you like 2 or 3 years later, went up and said, "Hey, Van, how you doing?" And you're like, "Have we met?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." But how much our friendship has grown just by, our weekly conversations and stuff like that. I mean, I consider
Who are you, sir?
Right.
How dare you talk to me? Who do you think you are?
We did record a Micronauts podcast together, but so
Well,
no, I think
allegedly.
allegedly, right? No, I think that's the coolest part about our doing the podcast with you is how much our friendship has grown, and you're part of my family now, and I think that's just fantastic. So
I think what Andy's. Let me just say what you're saying there is doing the podcast with me has helped me remember that I know you.
Right. It took until middle of season 2 before you actually remembered, my name at the beginning of each episode. As far as where we're going, I don't know, but I want to keep it going for as long as possible. I mean, I know it's just so much fun to just chat sci-fi with you, because I try to chat sci-fi with my wife and she just looked at me like I got 3 eyes or something like that. She's like, "I don't watch any of that crap. I don't know what you're talking about."
Oh, some of your best segments have been on the B5 show. Have been when you're saying that so and so is happening on the show, and she walks in and just looks at the TV and then looks at you, like, "What is this?" And you're just like, hey.
The Martin Sheen in that one episode, she walks in, she goes, "Why is President Bartlett in a alien wig?"
That's so good. It's so true. That's awesome. All right, Jared, if we have any future to speak of, what might it be?
Sometimes we run across each other at Dragon Con, because you have a table next to mine, and sometimes you're at that table.
Sometimes.
Occasionally. Just some final thoughts. I want to give out some, genuine accolades, not be Mr. Jokey Maker. But I appreciate you, Van, for, helping me get into the writing thing. You supported my first comic book. You got me a cover art that I did for one of your books. Well, I guess it was Ian's book, but under your publishing labels. So you've given me a foothold in an industry when I was just trying to get a foothold. So I'll always remember you for that. And Alan as well. Alan has really nurtured my writing as well, and helped me publish a book. So you guys, this is fantastic.
Mention that. What you got coming out now? This is awesome.
Okay, yeah, we've got the digital copy out already. It's called The Digital 007, A History of James Bond in Video Games. It is available where all fine digital books are. And then hard copies or paperbacks are on target to be coming out the end of the month. But Alan will know the details about that better than me. But and you know what? Weirdly, this ties back to you, Van. I never would have did that book if you hadn't have done We Believed. When you did We Believed, I thought audio documentary is cool. So I did the audio documentary of Bond in video games. And just like you were like, "Hey, I just turned it into a book." And I was like, "Well, I'll just do that too." You made it sound easy. It wasn't, but you made it sound easy. So I appreciate that. I have a couple of very fast notes here just to let some of the folks here know how you've impacted me in simple but interesting ways. Thanks to you guys' Connery Non-Bond podcast, you and Alan. I watched the movie Hell Drivers because of you guys, and I loved it. Because of your Non-Bond More podcast, I watched The Man Who Haunted Himself, and I loved it. So thank you guys for that.
That was an odd movie, but
I liked it because of you specifically, Van, and your irrational love for the McLean stuff. I'd never heard of Ice Station Zebra before I heard your podcast, and I watched it and I loved it. John and Van, I can't tell you how many Auburn games I've gone back to watch on YouTube just because you guys have recommended them. That because I became an Auburn football fan in about like 99, 2000. So I have all this history to go. And then my favorite thing of all is just every season on the Auburn show. Is every season for the last couple of years now. John's position review. He's never sure how many positions there are. He's never sure how many episodes are between here and there. And my favorite part is that I think this was the year he was like, "I don't care about the math anymore." And I loved it. So
embrace the chaos.
Just genuine joy from these little details that you guys haven't even given a second thought to. They've brought massive amounts of joy into my life. So I just want to put that out there and thank you guys for that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Appreciate that so much. And Jared, by the way, you are responsible for your success because you're good at doing the things that you do. If anybody else has helped you, that's awesome, but that's you. John, what are your final thoughts about all this and going into the future and so forth?
No, I enjoy, as you said, the conversation part. I think that's important. People caring about topics that people talking about topics they care about with other people that care about those things. It genuinely shows. If you're interested in those things, then the audience can tell. And I think that matters in all the stuff that we've done. There have been times when there were things you wanted to talk about in the White Rocket podcast, and I said, that's not me. I don't have genuine interest in that. There's plenty of other good people, and you went and talked to them. And I enjoyed listening to those conversations. I learned a lot of stuff from it. But I enjoy talking to you about this stuff. I enjoy the Auburn stuff every week we do. Part of our role in that is to be the psychologist for the other fans, and they help them process the unpleasant things that happen as being a sports fan. And they sit on the couch and listen to Van and I deal with it ourselves and help them deal with it. And it's funny, I'm a more rational, better adjusted fan from doing this stupid podcast with you all the years than I was, 20 years ago. I handle it better than I used to. So that's a good thing. And I enjoy talking with you about whether it's Dune or Game of Thrones or something else. That stuff always makes me happy. So.
Yeah, I was going to say there's two things there. You and I are both older now and have figured out how to deal with. Plus, Auburn has helped us, giving us lots of practice the last few years. But we've learned to deal with disappointment and sadness, and I think help maybe younger people that way, right? Because people tell us all the time, you're teaching me how to kind of get over things quicker and not feel bad as much about them. I was going to say the other thing though is you said is like one of us is rational and calm and logical and thinks clearly, and the other is me. But I've always felt like that's a good combination. We kind of have it's just like Andy and me. I need somebody, and Alan and me, we do bond. I mean, I need somebody. Now, Jared, I don't know. That's the thing, Jared. I think you and I can do stuff when there's three people.
There's no safety net when it's me and you.
I don't. Neither one of us fits into the role the other one needs. That's the problem, right?
The funny part is, I always thought it was you. I thought you were the mature one.
See, we found the bug in the system.
This whole
yes, that's it. That's exactly it. Is I have Andy to kind of hold things down. I had John to hold things down. Alan to hold things down. You and I, we're both bouncing around. We can't hold it down. So there's your problem. All right, Alan, your thoughts on whatever it is we're talking about.
I got one thing to say. I have interacted with Van so much on Facebook about, consoling him about the Auburn losses or discussing the Auburn wins or whatever. I've interacted with him so much on Facebook that Facebook now, and I can't convince it otherwise, now includes Auburn in my algorithm and feeds me all this Auburn football crap that just turns my stomach. So
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Have you ordered a hat yet?
No, not yet.
That's a feature, not a bug, Andy. Enjoy. You're welcome. Oh gosh. All right. I'm sorry, Alan. Your thoughts on all that we've accomplished and going forward and everything in podcasting.
I actually want to echo what Jared said. You've been such a catalyst for my creative life over the last 10 plus years. All came out of a Twitter conversation about Formula One and James Bond that ended up with you inviting me to talk about James Bond that kicked off the whole Bond program. You also supported my writing, published short stories. The way that you stepped up as a publisher for Jill and I when we lost our publisher for the James Bond lexicon, and you stepped up and said, I'll help you with that, and published it for us. What's that, 5 years ago now? The book's still going out there. You saved that project. Can't thank you enough for that. And unfortunately, you also introduced me to Jared.
Can't all be winners. Can't all be good.
But through the Bond podcast, the Long Box Crusade and everything, weirdly enough, I decided I wanted to do the podcasting thing myself, and Jared was great in teaching me how to do production and editing and stuff, which spun off into the fact that, I now have 2 podcasts that I do, a Beatles podcast and Agatha Christie one I do with my wife. And podcasting has become as much part of my creative life as writing now. So, and that all, at the end of the day, that all comes back to you, Vance. So thanks.
It's a disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Exposing you to that contagion. No, and your stuff is great too. I absolutely. And by the way, Alan and I have a co-authored book coming out later this year. And Laura has read it. She proofread it for us, which was awesome. And that's the third Harper and Salsa heist novel, Monaco Heist, which would not exist without Alan, because I could have wanted to do a story set in Monaco in the 60s, but I couldn't have. But with Alan, and then plus his there's an awesome couple of sections in this book where he just tells you what it's like driving one of those cars back in the 60s. Like if you watch the movie Grand Prix with James Garner and them driving those cars, which could blow up at any moment or go flying off into the ocean and kill you, whatever. I mean, it's way different from today. He gives you you're in the seat working the controls. It is so cool. And that's something that those books had not had before. So I'm really excited. We're going to do a Kickstarter for those 3 novels and the 2 omnibus hardcovers with a Doug Kaba cover and a Wendell Cavalcanti cover. I'm so excited for those. Anyway, so yeah, thank you for that, Alan. I appreciate that. Laura, your last up here thoughts on all this.
So first of all, Alan, I have to ask you a question. Were you at Dragon Con last year?
Yes.
Okay. So you and I were briefly introduced. So what I want to say, so I have known Van since we met at Dragon Con 2005. So we've known each other almost 21 years. We've been friends for a long time. Now, of course, life happened. He got married, I got married, and all that. And then, but just, we've always been connected through Facebook. And my life has been completely upended of my own accord. But Van, you have given me, with this opportunity, bringing me on the podcast, you have introduced me to so many different people. I met Jared last year at Dragon Con because I was helping you out at the booth last year. And I do remember being introduced to Alan. We really didn't have a conversation, but it was like, hey, that's Alan. I'm like, oh, hi. And you're like, hi.
No, you mentioned
it. Yes, I remember.
He has
all his groupies crowding around, so it's hard to.
And yes, I jokingly told you had no female perspective in your podcasts. And so when you invited me to be on the SGU podcast with you and Andy, I know we've not met in person, but I consider you, I'm going to get emotional. Here's the female. I've got a whole new set of friends. I have new connections and new people, and I get to geek out over the stuff I love and be introduced to stuff that I didn't know if I liked or not. And it has, I don't want to say it's changed my life, but it has added to my life. And I enjoy every bit of this. I hope to see you, Jared, and you, Alan, at Dragon Con this year, because I will definitely be there. Andy, you and I will have to meet in person one day. John, I'm not a football fan, but I know who you are. And who knows if our paths will cross at some point. But it's just given me a whole new avenue of creative expression. In fact, it was funny, our last Battlestar Galactica, like the first Battlestar Galactica, there was a scene we were talking about. I happen to be a fusion belly dancer, and there's a belly dancer in that scene in Battlestar Galactica, which there's belly dancers in James Bond too. But it's like, Van made the comment, who knew we were going to have an expert on belly dance in, Battlestar Galactica? So I did my first actual sci-fi panels last year at Dragon Con, and I kind of felt like a poser, because all I am is just a fan. And not that, and being on this podcast, I feel kind of like gives me a little bit of street cred, but realizing I actually do have something to contribute to the stuff I love. And it's because of Andy and a monkey with a typewriter.
Soviet monkey with the typewriter. All right, gang. Well, I appreciate all of that. I appreciate you taking an hour and a half out of your evenings to come on and celebrate what we've all done. All of us together in our various avenues have done 1,000 freaking episodes of our shows all together. It really is amazing, and it's all because of you guys, and I really, really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and tell everybody goodbye. And you know what we got to end with? All the other things we always end with. War Eagle, John.
War Eagle, man.